Hey guys, this is your horny host, Sasha Fierce, and you are listening to an episode of We're All Fckd, a podcast all about sex, dating, non-dating, and relationships with the hopes of improving sexual confidence and skills. Times are crazy nowadays. We should all know how to get fucked the right way. Hey, welcome all you sexy listeners, and thank you for joining me for the 9th episode of We're All Fckd podcast. Today's topic is the male orgasm. So in episode 7 and 8, we did discuss the topic of the female orgasm and female ejaculation. These female-related topics have been historically taboo, and to this day, the specific topic of the female orgasm is still an uncomfortable one for many individuals. However, male orgasms are more common and more widely accepted in general, as we all know. Now, most males can contest that nearly every time they have sex or masturbate, there is an orgasm, and also most likely resulting in ejaculation. This is a little bit different from how the female body works, but it's really much about the same. Orgasms are really the same with both genders. The only real difference is duration and recovery. But nonetheless, I am very excited to talk about the male orgasm. So today, as we discuss the male orgasm, we will take a look at a little bit of science, and then, of course, because I'm a female, I brought on a few of my male previous guest hosts to discuss what it is like to have a male orgasm, because I cannot do that myself, obviously. So welcome back, my previous guest hosts, Dom, Joel, and Ray.
Hello, guys.
How's everyone?
Happy to be back.
So happy you guys are here. So Dom was with me for episode 3, which touched on cannabis and sex, smoking while you're high. Ray was actually with me. And Ray was actually with me for talk about the D, which was a deep discussion about penis and how much we love it. Dick, fat dick. And Joel was actually with me for a very interesting episode of anal sex and other cool topics that we talked about on there. So I'm very excited that you guys came back. Let's get started. So just generally, I want you guys to go around and tell me the first time that you remember having an orgasm. And Dom, you can go first.
Yeah, I shall. I think I'm gonna say 11/12.
Prepubescent almost.
I was fucking by 15.
Yeah. Cute.
So yeah, I'm gonna say 11/12.
Is there a story behind it, or is it just kind of like?
I don't think. I think it was Britney Spears, and then it just happened.
Please explain what that means.
I am not a
I get it.
gay. I'm not a gold star gay, so I definitely had girls first.
Sorry, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
So I definitely was. I don't know what it was, but definitely was very early. I was shaving at 12.
I mean, well, you're a hairy dude already.
Man, it is a spectrum. This is a spectrum. You don't have to worry about why.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
That is so.
You know who you are now.
Exactly.
I love that.
Okay, so I'll go next. I have a really quick. It's actually really funny. Well, it's funny, but it's also like not really funny because like there should have been more education. So.
Clearly.
And I'm okay with sharing this. I didn't masturbate for the first time until I was 15.
That's
a
okay.
long time, I know. And I just, I did it or whatever. And it was actually completely natural. Like, I didn't watch porn. It was literally like, I guess, the way that it happened in the beginning. And I just literally just started touching myself. And it was really natural. And it's funny because, like, after it happened, like, the very first time, there was a change in the shape of the penis. And so I was like, oh, like, I didn't know what was going on. So I went to the doctor. Well, the next time I went to the doctor, I didn't go for this reason, but the next time I went for my checkup, I was like, oh, so, is it like really normal for things to change shape or whatever? Like, is that normal? And my doctor was like, oh yeah, like it's like completely normal. I was like, oh, that's normal? And she was like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, oh, okay. But no, I never had any fantasies on about women or anything. It was like literally like these like stupid, dusty, musty little boys that I had crushes on in high school.
Dusty and musty.
Like at the time, I was like, oh my god, they're so hot. But like looking back on it, I was like, like,
oh, same. Well, I mean, what did we have to go by, right? It's just like we didn't have anything.
Proximity. It was like they were close, and they were males, and I was horny, and they were there.
There you go. They were there for that because you needed that.
Experience.
That's okay because you needed that at the time. So you took what you can get. It's not like there was a Tinder for you to go find something better. But you've never been with a girl.
I have a MySpace.
Oh, MySpace for sure.
Oh my god.
That's dating us. Ray doesn't know about MySpace because he's so young.
I'm so young. That was like that was before my time.
Yeah. But Ray, you've never been with a woman. You're gay, but you've never even started with women, or maybe
tried
kind
a
of.
couple of things in not high school. I'm sorry, college. But no, like nothing major. If that makes any sense. I don't know what the categories are. I know in the gay world there's like the platinum, the gold, the silver, the bronze. I guess. Platinum is when like you have a C-section, right? Like you have no contact with the vagina at all.
Yeah, like gold. Yeah, like.
And then gold is like if you I don't remember all the categories, but basically, I've never dabbled down below in a woman, but like I'll suck a titty.
And that's okay. I mean, I know a gentleman who's bisexual. He actually grew up thinking he was just gay, and then he came out as being bisexual, which I love when that happens, because it's like, oh, I thought I was just gay, but honestly, I started off dating women, and then I started dating men, and I was like, oh, since I'm dating men, I must be gay. And then you think about it, and you talk to more people, and culture is different nowadays, and he came out as being bisexual. But the point that he wanted to emphasize was that he didn't want to go near the vagina because he didn't like vagina. He just was physically or sexually, or maybe like a sapiosexual, where you're attracted to the mind of somebody with females. And so he realized that he has a romantic connection with both genders, but he doesn't think that he can physically be with a woman. So there is that thing. So that, I mean, there's all different types of ways that you can be, like you just said. And I would love to have an entire episode about what you just said, because that's very interesting. Something that I know nothing about.
Like gender identity. And honestly, even you saying that, I'm like, oh, maybe that is, like I think we're all constantly growing and figuring ourselves out and, coming to a place of probably all the same. Like there's that spectrum, but there's eventually like the place where like as we grow and become one, like we're probably all just going to be in the middle of like one day and all basically be quote unquote bisexual,
Well, we're all talking about it a lot. There's
pansexual, right?
Exactly. So I can't wait for me to get into those specific episodes, because I will break down all of the different types of sexuality, and within each episode we will talk about the similarities with all of that. So that's important. So good stuff. So what about you, Joel? Do you remember the first orgasm you had and how that was?
I do remember it, and it's a layered question, just because we got into a little bit about my past in the last episode I was on, but a lot of it has to do with my age at the time. So it was pre-pubescent. So the thing is, I discovered pornography and masturbation maybe a couple of years before I was actually physically able to ejaculate.
Interesting.
Or have an orgasm. You understand? So I had been masturbating just knowing that it felt good by itself.
Yes.
Interesting.
Without even being able to, I think I was probably almost 12 by the time I actually came. But I just knew that, the same way a massage feels good on your body, playing with yourself felt good that same way. And so the first time I remember masturbating was actually, incidentally, my experience with the spectrum that I've talked about. Started pretty much right there at the beginning, because I was with my friend Jordy, who was like my best friend. His family went to church with my family, so I would hang out with him all the time. We were the same age. He had found his older brother's stack of porn, and he showed it to me.
I love how aged that is when you have a stack of porn. Now it's all on the internet. I'm sorry.
No magazine. It was printed off of the internet.
That screams 2002.
Yeah. No, it was. It was 2000, 2001. 2000.
Wow. So he found that, and y'all shared it?
So he found that, and he showed it to me, and we masturbated together, looking at it, which is the beginning of the whole story. So we were looking at pornography of women, but we were together and masturbating with each other and enjoying that too. So the spectrum started right at the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? The first time I came, I was in my bathroom at my house in Louisville. I was had the fan on, I had the faucet running, because I knew what I was doing, and I knew that if I didn't do those things, the people would know what I was doing inside. I can't remember if I was on the toilet or in the bathtub, but it happened, and I remember being like, whoa, that's never happened before. What? And it was intense. It was super intense, and I just like had a little freak out because I didn't know what to clean it up with, because it's not like cleaning up water. You understand? It's like it's a little different substance.
Consistency.
What did you clean it up with at first? Mine was socks, the age old.
Everybody's a socks.
Very white toast socks.
I remember exactly. Actually, I'm gonna let Ray go first.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
What'd you clean it up with first?
The room, but I don't remember. I think for me, because I was so confused about what was going on, I didn't know what I was doing. I just did what felt good, and I think it just kind of happened, and I was just like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
could-
probably cleaned it up with a sock too. I don't know. I think I was just more confused and scared. Like, I was like, oh my God, what is this stuff? No one gave me the talk. Like,
I was going to say, for all of you, like, I mean, for Dom, did you know that it was a shock? Joel and Ray are basically explaining that, like, it was just like, oh, fuck, what is this? Was it the same for you?
Yeah, it started as like mine is like really like stereotypical. Like it started as a dream. Like I woke up.
Wet dreams.
Yeah, it started
Nocturnal
that way.
emission. Yeah.
Yeah. So it started that way, and then it was just like, oh, well, that feels okay. Oh, cool. And then it, I just kind of recreated it, I guess.
And there was, I forget which episode I talked about this, where it's like, yeah, you can have an erection from something that's not sexual. You can definitely possibly ejaculate even from something, that's not sexual. But it's important to point out that, holy shit, this is happening. I talked about this in the female orgasm. I don't want to, talk about that again. But I remember, because I'm a squirter, and I remember the first time I squirted, it was like, I didn't have porn. I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. I didn't know what the fuck that was going on. And of course I was like, wait, did I just piss myself? Like, of course that was a thing. So it's like this whole, if nobody teaches it to you because of society or the way your family is, I feel like all four of us have been raised in an environment which suppressed that sexuality in any sense, whether it be homosexual, bisexual, pansexual. We were raised in environments and with families who did not teach us. We didn't learn from society. Nobody really talked about it. So when it happened to us, it was just a shock. And I think that's amazing. And for guys, for me, I was very young, 11, 12, when I started, rubbing my pussy up on the couch and like shit and being like, oh my God, like this feels fucking good. Just like you guys, it's like, yeah, you touch yourself and it feels good. But the ejaculation part of it may not come until later when you understand how to do that. And same for me, Really
Actually,
cool.
Before we go on, I got to tell you what I cleaned it up with for the first time.
Oh yeah, sorry, because that was important.
Because I was in the bathroom, I flipped over the bath mat and like moved it around.
Smart.
Wait a minute. Can I?
So the rest of the family had to stand on that crusty old fucking bath mat on the floor.
That is
oh
so
my God,
funny. I don't know if you guys
crazy.
watch Big Mouth on Netflix.
Yes, a little bit, but
There's literally a scene in that show that shows the guy doing just that, and
that's good.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Please clarify, you come on the bath mat or you turn it over?
I didn't know I was going to come. It's never happened to me before.
So it just accidentally just ended up all over the bathroom floor.
And then it happened on the bathroom floor, and I was like...
You just kind of wipe it with your foot and you're like, let's move on.
I wiped it off of myself first. And there's there's a stereotype of like guys who masturbate with the lotion and the tissues, right? I don't know if you've ever been a guy trying to clean up cum with a tissue.
Oh, it sticks. It sticks all over the dick. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I tried first. I used toilet paper on my wiener, and it just started like sticking to my wiener, and it like did not clean it up. It made the situation worse. So I was like, bath towels. No, I just like used the bath mat. I just flipped over the bath mat.
That's adorable.
Like did a circular motion on the floor until everything was gone.
I know that's right.
I know everyone. I'm sure a ton of people do that shit. That's so funny.
Yeah, whoever came up with that stereotype of tissues next to like on your bedside table, that's false, man. Do not use tissues because you're just gonna make it bigger. Like
you need to use a cloth. It should always be a cloth, a towel, a wash rag.
The closest. Oh, wet wipe, like a dude wipe.
Dude wipes, like the black dude wipes.
Yeah.
Don't even fuck with me. I buy
Don't
those.
fuck with you.
I buy
Changed
those.
my life. It's a game changer. Bro.
Because I
It's
believe in
definitely-
pink tax. Pink tax is when they charge more for female products.
Yeah,
So I
yes,
purposely
exactly.
buy male razors, stuff like that.
That's
So yeah,
so
I wipe my
funny.
ass with dude wipes because they're
But
called dude
somebody-
wipes.
I told somebody about my dude wipes, and she got at me. She came at me like, "Of course, you being a man, you would want the dude wipes because you're like."
Yeah, well, go
friend
back
or
and tell her
whatever."
that this
I was
bitch.
like, I prefer the booty wipes, like the brown, like the chocolate brown package is called booty wipes, and it's like sparkly and everything. I prefer that, but it's way more expensive.
And they're scented, and that's why.
And they're scented.
It's the pink tax, and they're like, oh, this is, we had to add extra ink to this fucking package, so we're gonna
So
charge you
instead of the
more.
booty wipes, I use the
Yeah.
booty wipes.
That's hysterical. Boy. So I thank you guys so much for being so honest and talking about, your first orgasms and such. Obviously everybody knows how orgasms work, and I don't want to get too much into it, but for males, I did read that like an orgasm can last like 10 to 15 seconds. For like the most extreme, they last 30 seconds. Generally, guys, like how long do you think an orgasm really lasts? I mean, there's the ejaculation part of it, which obviously is like it either happens all the way or it like kind of, comes in, sprouts or whatever. But what do you think? Do you count how long your orgasm lasts?
No one
I'd
counts.
say I need a solid minute.
What?
Minutes?
No, wait,
I'm
can
gonna
I say
I need
something,
a solid
Dom?
minute.
Oh, a solid minute.
I wanted to say something about this because I swear that I have multiple orgasms. And
You
I'm
do?
not- Oh, I do?
You can. I'm saying you do like I know your dick, but no, you can. Males can.
Yeah.
No, seriously, because I orgasm for so long, and sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, like, am I like? Because like the other person, the other guy will be like, okay, so, and I'm just like,
Do they think you're being dramatic?
yeah, they think that, oh, you're doing too much. And I'm like, no, like I'm in this. Please don't talk yet.
Yeah.
Don't touch me. Don't
I
talk.
always want to stop before it's done. Like, don't
I'm like,
stop.
I'm in this. Like I'm literally in it right now.
It takes a hold of you. You have no control once you
I have
get
no
there.
control.
It's not like but I definitely need like a minute.
That's
to
including
rest.
the recover time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like recover time.
Oh, yeah,
too.
yeah.
And that's the
I need a
refractory
solid, like-
period. The refractory period, which goes between
Oh,
a minute or days, where somebody can't come again.
That's
And
weird.
I've been with people who will literally come and put it right back in me and continue with a hard dick. Like some people come.
I've never experienced that.
I've had someone just like that. When I tell you, it is a game changer.
It's fucking
oh
weird.
my god,
It's crazy.
It used to turn me on. Watching, I could literally look at the refractionary period. Is it refractionary or refractionary?
Refractory.
Refractory period. I could literally look at the refractory period while it was happening. Like I was like, wow, like they just came, and then I can like literally see it like keep like go. It gets stiff again. And I'm just like, oh,
Crazy.
It is
Because
such a turn on.
yeah. But I think,
Yeah.
for a lot of men, I mean, I shouldn't really say this without researching it, but usually you come and then it's like, oh, you have that one
Yes.
major orgasm and you come everything you have, and then your dick gets soft because it's tired. But there are some men who they never get soft again. They come and they just put it right back in where it needs to be, and they just continue to go. That's like
just
seconds
so
later.
So wild to me.
It's just the anatomy of
Yeah.
the way that they work. Like it's not necessarily that they're still horny. Their penis, their dick is just literally in that hard state. And so they're like,
It'll
oh,
stay
yeah, I
that
can
way.
just keep going. Like it doesn't feel good to them. You know what I mean?
I've
Yeah.
been there too, like where it's like you orgasm, you ejaculate, and then even though you're still stimulated and you can continue to have sex, you still have a refractory period where you need to build it up
Yeah.
yet again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for the actual like feeling good part of it all. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Because sometimes for me, when I feel depleted and completely empty after I've, had multiple orgasms and I'm done, I know my clit is like, bitch, I'm tired. Like, I don't even want to work anymore. Like, stop it.
Right.
And then I stop, and then maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, I can go back to my clit, and I'm like, okay, did you have a good nap? Like, let's go again. So I know for men, for women, it's a little bit easier because we do naturally have multiple orgasms. Men can have multiple orgasms it's rare, or is it not? Or is it something like squirting where you need to practice, right? You need to practice lasting long. You need to practice having multiple orgasms. I mean, this is a question I have for men, because it's like, do y'all do that?
Well, you really do need to practice.
It's a practice thing, for sure. Also, it depends on who you're with. It depends on how you feel about it.
Oh, 1,000%.
I agree.
Because with guys, I mean, in general, I don't want to like, God, I don't want to
generalize
turn here, but like, guys in general are better at like decompartmentalizing like feelings versus sexual desire. You understand? Like, so it really depends on the person that you're with too. Yeah,
1,000%.
I gotta say that.
Oh yeah, of course. And I mean, that just calls for any type of sexual experience. It's like, I've been with people where they didn't, I mean, I'm a horny individual and I get horny like literally off of nothing, but I've been with people who like didn't make me horny. And then I've literally been masturbating to porn and like paused my porn to think about somebody that I know will get me off faster than that porn will. And I almost immediately have that. That's a thing.
I thought I was crazy.
No, that's completely a thing. And you immediately orgasm when you just simply think about a particular person who will get you off.
Right.
And I mean, that's like super important. So yeah, lasting long. When you're jerking off, masturbating, anything, like, yeah, everybody knows what they need to do to jerk off and come in like 30, 40 seconds, right? And like everyone, like even me, like I know that I can take like 4 good minutes and be able to like, you know, like I said, like deplete myself and be like, oh, all right, that's good. Like I can move on.
I do, but like for women though, it is more, I mean, I don't know, you know, obviously, but it is more mental than anything else. Like there's guys, like there's times when like you can literally just do the physical act of jerking off your penis and still orgasm, right? Like I don't know about you guys, but like, and for me, like it doesn't, like you can do that act, but like it doesn't feel good if I'm not there mentally.
Right.
Like, for the male orgasm. So like for women, like isn't it hard for you to actually reach ejaculation without having that mental stimulation? Like I don't know.
Well, the thing, and especially what I talked about before, is like that social stigma and women feeling weird about having an orgasm already. So I think for a lot of women is that mental block, and you're right. And within that, like even on Pornhub, which I'm, you know, starting to like get sick of, because all of the videos that are longer than 10 minutes, they want you to pay for, and it's pissing me off.
Same. No, they got rid of a lot of the good
got rid of a lot of good stuff. But no, but there is a category on Pornhub that's like for females or something, where it's like, yeah, like it's usually a lot of foreplay and a lot of like mental stimulation. It's because like women overthink, we're over emotionalized most of the time, and it's like we need to have a mental place to be first in order for us to feel comfortable sexually. And I'm just speaking generally, of course, not everybody. In order for the general female public to be able to feel comfortable enough to mentally think that they can have that orgasm. For men, I mean, like gay or not, or whatever, bi or not, pan or not, like for most men, it has always been so like accepted and you know, needed. And of course men have sex, men need sex, like everybody in the male world like needs to have that. And for females it's harder to get into that. So of course when you're experiencing these male orgasms, like for most people it really doesn't matter how long it is or how it is. It's just like as long as you get off, that's it. Now there are people who have orgasms who don't ejaculate. That's called a dry orgasm. That's even possible. For most women, we'll have orgasms and we won't come because we're scared to come. So it's easier in the female world to understand that orgasms can happen without ejaculation. But in the male world, most of the time, orgasms happen with ejaculation.
I'll say for me, it's 100% of the time. I've never had an orgasm where nothing came out.
Most people are like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else is like that.
This is the one thing where, sorry, I just got a message. That's the one thing that I can actually touch on is like, I do technically know what it's like to have an orgasm without the actual ejaculation. Because I started so early.
Yeah.
Because like I knew that it felt good.
Yeah,
and it would come to some sort of climax. But I mean, I don't know. Also at 9, 10 years old, I didn't know what any of it was. Right. I just knew that it was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because
that is really interesting, to be honest. I've never met, not that I've never met anyone that did that before, but like I've never really talked to them
discussed
in depth. Yeah, like I've never discussed it. So like how does it feel to like be a man and not have any?
I thought it immediately gave you blue
juices?
balls. Like I thought that if you climaxed but didn't come,
That's
that
the
it would
lie,
be
though,
painful.
isn't
I've got
Yes.
such a thing to say about blue balls.
Please
Blue
do.
balls, they exist. They don't turn blue. That's ridiculous. They don't turn blue. You do when you, it's like, a lot of people say it's like shaking up a Coke can and then not opening it.
Ah.
So, like, the concept exists for the most part, and I want all of my teenage female listeners to listen to this very closely. When you're hooking up with a homosexual or a heterosexual guy, rather.
Listen up.
If he says, "I need you to help me so I don't get blue balls," do not take that. It's fucked up. The guy's really just trying to manipulate you. He can handle it himself. It does not matter. He will not die. He will barely be uncomfortable. Blue balls exist. It is not your responsibility. It's something that heterosexual guys, teenagers especially, will use
Yes.
as a way to pressure someone into,
Being more aggressive with trying to make sure that they come.
Yes. It is never, ever, ever your responsibility.
Fuck, Joel, you just fucked up my whole virginity loss. Because when I lost my virginity, the guy that I lost my virginity to, there were times where we had sex where he would get blue balls, and I didn't know what the fuck that meant for the longest time, right? End quote.
Right.
Like, Joel is
Blue
quoting
balls.
literally blue balls. And he'd be like, oh, we'd have sex and he would climax, but he wouldn't be able to come. I think partly because his mom and dad were like down the hall, or like he can hear his family, and it's difficult to perform when you know that like something's going on that you can't focus. Any old thing, your mind, someone there, whatever, where you can't focus if you're out in public and someone,
You're worried to lose control.
Exactly. So he would always claim that he had blue balls, but we were 17. So to Joel's defense, maybe he didn't. Maybe he just fucking.
I also want to say that to the teenage boy, it does feel like you're gonna die. It does.
It
feel
probably
like that.
did.
It's still never your responsibility.
I love that. Thank you so much for making me feel better. And I wanted to say this one last thing about that, which is hysterical. And I wonder if anybody else has gone through this. But he went like downstairs to get like drinks, and then he went like upstairs again. When he ran downstairs and ran upstairs, by the time he came back to the room, there was like 1 or 2 times where he was like, I don't have blue balls anymore. I guess it was the way he ran up the stairs where his balls got like whatever, where like he just was like, oh, it went away. Who knows if he was fucking with me or not, but nonetheless. So thank you guys for bringing that all up. So orgasms coming. Everybody knows how it works. I don't need to get into the science of it. If you want to, you can look it up. But yeah, so the entire process of an orgasm can take 3 to 10 seconds. The orgasm itself can take 10 to 15 or 30 seconds. Like it can even last longer than that. Like we all just discussed, it really depends on your health, your age, who you're with, like Joel said, like if you're tired, right? Like what environment you're in. So just like any old thing where you have any type of emotional or sexual or physical reaction to anything, it relies on a lot of different factors. So nobody's going to come the same way every time. Nobody's going to orgasm the same exact way every time for the rest of their lives. And that's important to learn about, because if you're pressuring yourself that, oh shit, every time I have sex with a female, I fucking come in like 2 minutes. Every time I have sex with a female. And it's like, but is it every time? Are you making it every time? Are you convincing yourself that that's the way you are? Have you been practicing your Kegels or your edging or like doing the stranger? Are you practicing being able to not come that fast and not be a middleman? Like there has to be the knowledge to know that, hey, A, you're not the only one going through this, and B, you don't necessarily have to go through this, and C, these are ways that you can train yourself as to not go through this if it bothers you. I don't really need to get into any of this other shit, because once I realized that the female orgasm and the male orgasm were the same, except for the multiple orgasms and the duration, that was really the only big difference. So like Ray said, like this is a great discussion. I don't need to talk about any of that stupid shit that people are like, yeah, duh, bitch, I know.
Covered it in your last.
I literally just
episode so far.
I think so. And y'all will be back again. Does anybody have anything else to add that you think is important, or you're good?
I was gonna say the only thing that I've actually been talking about this whole time is masturbatory. I haven't even gotten into
Yeah.
it. Like
No, same. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, you have so much content for your podcast. This is just one episode.
I think
Yeah,
about this
we've
a
all been
lot,
talking
man.
about what we've done to ourselves.
It's like when it comes to sex, like there's so much more than just vanilla, like A and B.
I honestly thought this
Right.
was going to be the quickest podcast ever because it's like, oh, you jerk off a guy, 30
Never.
seconds, you're done. Like,
It's
no.
never quick with
Right?
me.
There's so much. Like, have you
There's
ever
so
had a
much.
dick in your ear?
In my ear?
In your ear? No. Exactly. Me either. I want to try it. I want to try it.
You're fucked up, right? You're fucked up.
Are
So,
you, was that recorded? Like,
no.
Of course not.
I really wouldn't mind a dick in my ear. Okay, go ahead.
We'll talk about dick. We'll talk. I'll put that on a post-it.
It was like one of those things that someone told me, like, oh, like, he put a dick in his ear. And I was like, what? That's crazy.
Even if somebody licks my ear,
thought
I
about it later, and was
twinge.
like, you know, when you're 15, you're horny. You're like, that wouldn't be too bad.
Thank you guys so much for discussing your first orgasms and how it is and everything, and like getting into the nitty gritty. But yeah, like
Yeah.
we're gonna finish this off next week with talking about orgasming with other people, and that will be a great discussion. But I did
That'd
want
be
to
great.
touch upon the initial, hey, you're not alone. Like you grew up doing this, and you orgasm, and you may come, you may not come, and like here we are today. And hopefully, a lot of people, a lot of men especially, have been able to work with themselves and learn about their dicks and how they come and how they get hard and how they orgasm, and making sure that they can control that for the most part. All right, so this is my favorite part, just the tip. So just the tip for the day, just the tip. So basically, I mean, you guys can talk about this, but like my personal opinion is like practice trying to last as long as possible. Even though like if you're a minute man, if you don't last as long, like it's okay. But like it's important to try to like figure out why that is and try to practice that. I know for me, like I like edging. I like doing that with somebody. It helps control like the coming, breathing exercises, male Kegels, you know, like just, you know, tightening those, you know, muscles down there and letting them loose. There are herbs out there which can help male enhancement. We'll talk about that on another episode. And I think the most classic thing that a lot of people talk about that I think is hysterical and amazing at the same time is the stranger, where you sit on your hand, you allow it to get numb. It might be your less dominant hand, and you jerk yourself off with that. Makes it seem like it's somebody else jerking yourself off, and maybe that
I've
is
never heard of that.
get out.
I've heard of
No.
it, but I've never met a person who's actually done it.
What?
Same. No, same. Is that from
I've never heard
American
that.
Pie? Is that from American Pie?
It's from
It seems like
somewhere.
from like a teen movie, right?
Now that I think about it, I don't know if I know anybody who does it, but I thought y'all just did it all the time. Y'all don't do it?
No, in fact, like there are a bunch of different reasons. Out of those, the Kegels, the edging, the breathing, the stranger. Stranger, I've never done.
That's
Stranger
wild.
sounds funny as a concept, and like, oh wow, I wonder if that actually works. I've never tried that.
It sounds like such a
I'm
teenage thing to do. Sorry. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a bottom, so like Kegels for me, I guess have no effect for me. Like they just don't help. As far as edging goes, that's something that I do. It can happen for a number of reasons. Is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if like I'm by myself, which is what we're talking about today, if I'm by myself, sometimes I just don't want to be finished yet, and that's where that comes from.
And that's
It has nothing to do with-
okay.
It doesn't come from a mindset of like, let me build this up so that it's going to be the greatest thing ever.
Right.
It comes from I'm not done having alone time yet. I'm not done spending time with myself.
I love that.
So I know that if I stop for a good 15, 20, 30 seconds, I'll be able to go for another 5, 6, 7 minutes.
There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, so sometimes
Training your dick.
Put that.
And listen, there's a lot of reasons to start masturbating.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about in your life. I'm talking about that day, that hour. So
This moment right now.
I've been hanging out with this person who gets chronic migraine, and for her, the migraines are easily dealt with by achieving an orgasm. And we're not talking about a female orgasm, but I've been in this situation myself, where I've had a headache, or I've had like a toothache, or something. Something was wrong, and I did not have ibuprofen. I did not have, acetaminophen or anything like that. But I had my hand, and I had my penis, and and so my point is, there's a lot of different reasons to actually masturbate. Some of it can be for actual like health reasons. Other reasons can be like, I'm so horny, I don't want to be done with this in 30 seconds.
That's me.
I want this to last
Yeah. Because it feels
a
good.
lot more time. Yeah, edging. So out of those 4, edging is probably something I can connect with the most.
Just making sure you don't come as long as possible.
It's more than just not coming. It's like stopping yourself when you feel like you are about to come.
To elongate that orgasm.
That's the part that kind of like fucks me up, is because like right before, like I don't have the control. I don't have the ability to just, I mean, I guess I could, but I don't know. Like,
stop yourself. You just get excited.
Yeah, like once I'm really into it, I just want to like keep going. Like I'm just like, oh no, we're already in jaws. Like I don't want to slow down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so edging for me is beneficial because I have done it before, especially when I was younger. I don't know why. Like it seems like it would be the other way. Like it would be easier as I get older and whatever. But like when I was younger, it was a lot easier for me to just say, okay, I'm just gonna like do this really quick and then I'll just go and do something else. Maybe because I was doing it more often, more frequently. But like now,
of course,
like once I get started and I start building myself up to that, like I don't want to stop. You know, like that's really what like edging is all about, is just stopping at the right time and making sure that like, you know, you don't actually climax, right?
Of course. And it's not even just stopping it, like Joel said, for 15-20 minutes. It's really like controlling the ejaculation. And that's why I was discussing the dry orgasm, where you have an orgasm, but you don't ejaculate. There have been times where I've allowed myself to orgasm and I don't come because I just am like, I'm not ready for all that yet. And it literally builds up more and more and more to the point where when I do let myself ejaculate, it's a lot. And I think that is fun to experiment with, because if you ejaculate too early, you may feel like you need to keep going. And so, but if you're the type of person like you, Ray, where it just gets you so excited that you just want to finish it as soon as you feel it, where it's just like, let me just let my body take control over it instead of practicing how to suppress it, which some people like to do naturally, and it's a good practice for people to do if they ejaculate too early, but it's also a preference. And whether or not you do it via masturbation or via sex with another person, it's still a preference. Even in that specific time, you may choose whether or not, like for me, like sometimes I like to masturbate for like 45 minutes. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't have enough time for this. I'll masturbate in 5 minutes. If I'm with somebody and whatever, my orgasm may happen in 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour. It's all about, again, the person you're with, the timing, how you feel, all of these variables. So it's important to remember that no matter what, everybody has their own body. Everybody's body reacts differently. You will have a plethora of different sexual experiences and a plethora of different orgasms and ejaculations, and you can't really beat yourself up anytime that it is something that is either not what you expected or wanted, or what the other person expected or wanted. And people need to just realize that everybody's one and the same, and we all have all these different experiences and bodily functions, and that it's okay if you have these moments that go against what you want to happen or what the other person wants to happen. It's all about confidence, understanding, appreciation, and education of everything that you're involved with. And that's important. It's important to just know, right? It's important to just know how it all works. Mm-hmm. It's more accepting, and it's easier for you to orgasm once you're more accepting to that knowledge.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing with the just the tip, I do want to finalize with what can affect my ability to orgasm. So if people are struggling, and even men, everybody, if you're struggling with having an orgasm, I personally believe that stress and mental influence definitely affect your ability to orgasm. It will definitely affect your ability to even get stimulated, hard, aroused, if you have some type of mental block where you can't get there.
I want to say that a lot of times it has to do with where you are mentally, obviously, but like a lot of times where you are mentally will stop you from being able to achieve even an erection. I'm not that way. I'm able to decompartmentalize all of those things.
Beautiful.
Most men.
So, most men, I would say. Specifically, I've used masturbation as a lack of Tylenol. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I've used it in that way. It does not necessarily mean that I'm horny. It doesn't mean that I'm in the mood for having sex. I've used it literally for medicinal purposes. And I'm not going to lie, I've hooked up with people that I'm not necessarily sexually or emotionally attracted to. But I was able to keep that erection, and I've been able to ejaculate in those situations.
You know what's crazy? I did not know that until the last episode that Sasha put on, that like it was a painkiller. And so you you saying that, I'm like, oh, like actually her saying that in the podcast before, but I was like, oh, like I never tried it. Like,
for all orgasms.
Hey man,
like
dopamine.
It is. It's the dopamine. It's a pain reliever. It improves your immune system. It helps with heart disease or heart issues. Orgasms are a release. Any type of release anywhere is just this relaxing feeling where you just let go and all the stress leaves you. I orgasm so much throughout the week that it's nearly impossible for me nowadays to even be depressed like I used to be. Because it's like I just try to focus on orgasming as much as I can. Because the reason I'm horny all the fucking time.
You want to,
but because I want to. And the more I do it, the more I want it. It's like when you're on a diet and you're like, oh, I'm not going to eat bacon. So you don't eat bacon for 6 months. And then you go and eat bacon and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? It tastes terrible. It's like, I'm not used to this. But then a couple days in, you're like, oh, what am I talking about? Bacon is great. Like, why did I stop eating bacon? Like, this is I don't even eat bacon or pork or meat or anything. But like, that's just an example of when you're not used to having these orgasms. Now, I like to, brag about how I'm so healthy and whatever. Like, I drink, I do drugs, whatever. But I'm very healthy in a way. I drink a lot of water, I exercise, and I come a lot. I have a lot of orgasms. Right? Everything's in moderation, but like the way that Exactly.
I took voice lessons when I was a teenager. I took voice lessons from a guy in Louisville. I studied opera for about 10 years. Ooh. And my mother caught me smoking cigarettes. And so she called my voice teacher to tattle on me and have him tell me, do not smoke cigarettes. And my operatic voice teacher told me, I don't give a fuck what you do, as long as you're doing it in moderation.
That's so funny.
Facts.
That's something my mom would have done.
Portion control.
My mom would have done.
It's all about portion control and moderation.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like regardless or not if you're a horny individual, like please practice orgasming. Please practice ejaculation.
Girls should get a mirror. Guys should get a mirror, and they should actually look at what they're working with.
A lot of us are, like Joel explained, a lot of us were raised or told or taught or has been brainwashed to feel like this is wrong. And that's why when people go through it, they feel like it's wrong and they have a mental block and they can't go forward with it. So if you have an issue with orgasming, it has a lot to do with your lifestyle factors, your current mental health, any other medical conditions. I mean, these are just some things that can affect your ability to orgasm. So after when I post this episode and I put it on my YouTube, everybody can look on my YouTube under the details where it will have a complete summary of, hey, this is what's affecting your orgasm, and maybe you should look into this stuff, and maybe you should pay more attention to if you're struggling with this. These are possibly the reasons why, and how to fix that for yourself. Not saying that you're broken, you need to get fixed, but if you're struggling at all in the way that your sexuality is being, the way that your sexuality is treating you, you need to address it, and don't have any type of fear or hesitation or insecurities about it. Because listen, talk to me, reach out to me and tell me, holy shit, like Sasha, this is what I'm going through. I'm glad you brought this up. Like, can we talk more about this? Because all of these topics that I talk about on my pod, we are going to re-talk about this over and over again until everybody has an appreciation and understanding and the self-confidence to be able to say, this is how I am, this is how I work, I'm appreciative of this, I need to work on this, and now I'm happy in my sexual being. It'll improve everything else. It'll just trickle down. It'll trickle down to involving your self-confidence into other ways. Your job, relationships, your family, anything. It starts with yourself. And there's nothing more intimate with yourself than sexual intimacy.
I feel like I'm in a sex church right now.
Wow.
And hallelujah, the prostate and the G-spot. So yes, again, please follow my Instagram. Please, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Reach out to me in any way possible.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at We're All Fckd Podcast. My email is podcastbysasha@gmail. Just podcast singular. Podcastsasha@gmail. I'm sorry, podcastbysasha@gmail.com. And my YouTube channel is
by BY or BI?
Good question.
BY. BY. Very good question, because I am bisexual. But yeah, reach out to me in any way possible. I mean, I'm more active on my Instagram, but anyway, it's perfect. Please ask me questions, interject anything, bring on your stories. If you'd like to guest host, I'd love all of that, because I am inviting the entire community of people in my world, any world, to be involved in this. So thank you guys so much again. I mean, if there's anything else you can add, we're going to talk more about this later, but it's beautiful.
Hey,
it is beautiful.
You guys can follow me at i.rayalexander on Instagram.
Thank you for
you guys
putting that
can
in.
follow me at my handle. Instagram at DJS19.
S like Sam.
You guys can love me by listening to this particular podcast.
Absolutely. And we will bring you back again. We will bring all of you back. We are going to continue this discussion hopefully next week. We generalized the entire initial or orgasmic experience for men. I do want to get into the physical aspect with other people, which we will discuss at a later time. But again,
detail, honey.
Details. It's all about details. And we're obviously going to be talking so much about sex for the entire duration of this podcast. Cannot wait for all of you to come back and do this with me. Dom, Joel, Ray, you're beautiful, amazing men. Thank you so much for teaching me, discussing with me about the male orgasm, which I can't experience obviously myself. And thank you for being open and honest with me and all of us out there, because that's important, to be open and honest about your sexuality.
Yo, thanks for having me. I can't wait to talk about orgasms.
Orgasms.
And liquids and all types of details and specifics. I can't wait to get into it, because this is just the beginning.
It's only the beginning, guys.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just started this shit. We're gonna be, oh my god, this is gonna be fun. All right, so I cannot wait for next week, where we will continue this discussion on the male orgasm, just like we did parts 1 and part 2 with the female orgasm. I think it is important for us to extend this discussion. We did talk about freely, the initial aspects and the primary aspects and, whatever of the male orgasm. But I do want to dive in more into being involved with somebody else and those orgasms that happen when you're not just by yourself. So hopefully we will bring back all 3 of these guys, Ray, Joel, and Dom. Again, thank you so much for being here with us. And I look forward to talking about this more.
Bye.
Bye. Please always remember that we are all very lucky to live in a time and place where we get to have sex with who and how we want, and that not everybody is afforded that right. It's been a pleasure getting fucked with all of you. Stay sexual. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. For more pleasure and direct contact, follow me on Instagram at We're All Fckd Podcast. Or you can email me at podcastbysasha@gmail.com. A huge thanks to our sexy listeners and our guest host for today.